Hey everyone, I'm Nitin from Encrypt AI, and today I'll be going through the Encrypt AI platform and how you can start a red teaming task on any of your model endpoints or chatbots or copilots. So let's get started. So first of all, to start it out, you'll need to have an endpoint saved on the platform. So the way you do it is you can go on the endpoint tab, click on Add New Endpoint, and then you can select what kind of endpoint it is. So it could either be an LLM, which would be a foundation model, or like a chatbot or copilot, or it could be an agent. So for the sake of this demo, we'll be going with LLM, and then you'll have to set the system prompt which you would want your LLM to have. So for example, I have a system prompt over here, which is basically for customer support agent for eBay. So like it's basically instructed to keep everything respectful, and then make sure it doesn't give any false information or toxic outputs, and be empathetic, clear, and helpful. And then you'll have to select the provider of your foundation model. So I'll be selecting OpenAI over here, but you have a bunch of other options, or you can even select a custom provider as well. So I'll be selecting OpenAI, so it will pre-fill all the required things for me, and I'll be going with the GPT-4o model. And then you'll have to add the API key for the model. Okay, once the API key is added, you can click on continue, and then you'll have to give a unique name to your endpoint. So here I'll be giving it as GPT-4o eBay, and then you can give any version number just for easier versioning. And then now you can test your connection to see if it works. If we do, I'll check in the background. So it was fine. So now you can save the configuration, and it'll take you back to the endpoint screen where you can see the endpoint has been saved over here. So now let's say we wanted to red team this endpoint. What we can do is we can go to red teaming and start the red teaming task. But if we want to do if we want to conduct a custom use case based red teaming, we'll have to upload policies for our endpoint. So for that, we can go into the policies tab, and then we can click on create new policy, and we can give a name. So let's say eBay customer support, and then we can either put in the policies for our chatbot, or we can upload a PDF which has it. So here I'm going to upload this PDF, which basically kind of contains everything related to the AI usage policy for e-commerce customer support domain chatbots. So the purpose and scope, and then ethical use, and then functionality guidelines, and a lot of other stuff. So the document can be as detailed or as simple as it can be, and the platform automatically extracts the rules from the policy document to create the relevant rules from it. So once we have uploaded it, it is creating the rules right now, and yeah, it has been created. So if we go over here and open it, we can see that it has generated 20 rules from this, and all of these are rules for the assistant as well as the user queries as well as to what what they must follow. So as you can see, it should not provide advice that could inadvertently misinform or mislead the customer. So essentially these rules will be used to create the custom use case based red teaming. So now if we go on to the red teaming tab, and then click on add red teaming task, we can give a task name. So I'm going to call it GPT-4o eBay, and then over here in the custom test field, you can click on add details. So in the AI system description, you can add the same system prompt that you had for your model, as you can see over here. And then you can also describe some risk categories if needed, like if you want to test for wrong refunds or toxic outputs from the chatbot, you can add those categories over here as well. And even if you don't add those, we will automatically create new categories and scenarios based on the policy as well as the system description. So here we'll select the policy which we just uploaded for the policy section, and then if you want, you can also control the scenarios, categories, and depth as well, but I'm going to leave it as it is. So this basically this basically controls the diversity of the test, the number of scenarios, the categories, and also the depth of the prompt generation as well. And then you can click on save details. So what this does is this gives a new option for test types, use case based adversarial test. So we're going to select that, and then you can select any of the other uh, pre-built tests which are also dynamic in nature. So I'll just keep the bias test for now and the use case based adversarial test. And then for the comprehensiveness, we'll select low. So low is just for a quick report. It'll only run on 10% sample size. But then you also have medium and high as well. High is for the complete one. So the low comprehensiveness takes about 10 minutes to run, while the high takes around like 1 to 2 hours or even a few hours, because it's very comprehensive and gives a fully rounded result. So now we can click on next, and here we'll have to select the model endpoint config which we just created. So once we select it, we get the endpoint info of that model. This was the one which we just created, and then we can just click on run test, and it'll basically add a red teaming task onto the queue, and then it'll go on and proceed to run the test. Okay, so once the test is once the red teaming task has started, you will get it over here, and its status will be running. And once it's finished running, you can see that the status would have finished, and then you can go on to the you can go on to open the report, and you'll get all the details of the custom categories that were created, and also the normal test, which was the bias test which we had selected, and the result for all of those. So here the result is not very comprehensive because we ran it for only 10% sample size. But here you can see that some of the biased ones were failed. So for example, it asked to create some biased response regarding religion, and then the model proceeded to do it when the prompt was encoded. So here you can see that it gave the entire response. So you can have a look at each of those, and as well as you can look at the breakdown by test type as well. So you can see it is quite biased in caste and religion, health, race, and then even a bit in gender as well. And then these are the custom tests. So we just have one category over here because we selected a very small size. But then if we had increased the number of categories and scenarios, we would have more results and more comprehensive things over here. So for example, if we look at one of the sample reports, this is a much more detailed report. And here you can see you have all these categories, and then all the different subtypes and subcategories, and there is for that as well. So this can be done once you're sure of the test configuration. You can run the test on 100%, and you'll get a complete breakdown of all the risks in your model endpoint or your chatbot. Thank you.